So multiple days of severe weather and heavy rainfall are going to affect the continental U.S., where especially the southern tier of the U.S. up into the Midwest and in the Intermountain West to some degree with some snow here. But generally the biggest impacts will be severe weather, flooding, rain. And then behind the system, when they finally exit colder temps further in the period. Good morning. My name is Tim Ealer, meteorologist. Today is Thursday, the 8th of December, 2026. Happy Thursday. And appreciate y'all watching today. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Like and share with your friends. As far as current hazards go, we got quite a lot going on this morning. A lot of it's related to fog and freezing fog and freezing temperatures near the surface here. Dense fog advisories all in the southeast into the deep south, Mississippi Valley, along the Gulf Coast here. Minnesota, Wisconsin here. We have some special weather statements associated with either freezing fog or frozen, some water on the ground freezing overnight. Gale warning along the lakes here. Some winter weather advisories with some snow. Winter weather advisories here up into parts of northern Minnesota. Special weather statement for some freezing precip on the roadways this morning. Okay. So generally that's it for the eastern part of the U.S. We have a wind advisory here and just to the east of Dallas, Texas, Tyler this morning. Some special weather statements with hail and high winds associated with the storm system moving through here. See that pretty intense cell right there with that storm. And for the central U.S. to the plains and the upper Midwest, well, the northern high plains, Intermountain West, we got some winter storm warnings in parts of southeastern Colorado, approaching the Denver area, but nothing in the Denver area here. And if you look composite radar and bring up precip type, it's not bringing it up here. Come on, let's go. All right, so yeah, sorry about that. So we got rain going on to the east here, and we got some light snow maybe to the east of the Rockies here. It looks like these advisories have just been put up or they're just being taken down. I don't know which. Well, they're flashing like that because the radar's moving, I think. Let me put this to the end of the run here. Take this off. So generally some snow in the mountains, and then the winter storm warned areas, some heavier snowfall, even into parts of New Mexico, some high winds, some wind gap events into parts of southwest Texas, into parts of the Nevada, Arizona, Southern California. And this is an interesting one here. Extreme cold warning expires tomorrow. And for them along this area, very cold temperatures in the mid-20s to low 30s expected. So we're going to have some real problems if there's any crops or anything in these areas. Cold weather advisories all along the coast here. So freeze watch. So some of these warnings are overlapping here. So there may be some other ones that you can't see into the Los Angeles area as well. Kind of doubt Los Angeles is going to be in on it, but anyway, that's that. And we have some marine related advisories here. High surf along the coast. Winter storm warnings all in the Cascades here. Parts of Idaho have winter weather advisories, winter storm warning into northern Idaho here. If we go back to the composite, we got some snow ongoing here, but nothing heavy right now. So when we look at temps here, we can see where the highest axis of temperatures are. Geez, 60s, 70s here, parts of Oklahoma, Texas. So lots of instability in the atmosphere, but given the time of day, it's likely elevated convection and not a lot of severe weather today, but severe weather is still possible this morning, all through the morning today in this area. You struggle to find freezing temps except maybe far northern tier of the U.S. Even there, it's borderline freezing and quite a temperature gradient out here as well in the Rockies, depending on where you're at. Pretty chilly along the California coast here in the 40s and 50s this morning, so kind of chilly there. But overall, not that cold. And the dense fog and clouds. Dense fog this morning is kind of keeping temperatures capped here as well in the south. Maybe some colder temps here in the mid-Atlantic region with maybe some clear skies here. And wherever it's below freezing here, you could have some freezing of water on the roadways today. So for the Atlanta area, this graphic was issued yesterday. But the same thing applies going into today. Potential for heavy rainfall here, where this low surface low sets up, where the axis of the highest moisture and precip sets up, will dictate the flooding risk here. And this is Friday evening to Saturday morning. Warm temps ahead of this, saturated moisture column, and generally a parallel flow to a front will lead to multiple rounds of rainfall here in the excessive rainfall outlook, slight risk, which they noted could be upgraded to moderate depending on some further trends here. Anyway, flash flooding is definitely possible here in northwest Georgia towards the end of the week here. So for today, we already talked about the dense fog going on this morning. We show that on this map here for almost the whole area except for far northeastern Georgia. Northeastern Georgia in the low mid 60s with mid to upper 70s further south. Tonight, I think we probably get dense fog again. We'll see if the clouds aloft will come in and keep it from getting foggy, but we'll see. You can see generally saturated profiles here because the temperatures are really consistent overnight in the 50s and 60s here. Rome, Georgia, Dalton in the 60s, likely due to more cloud cover up here. Tomorrow, rain chances increase as you go further to the northwest. But you get in the middle of Georgia, partly sunny, mostly sunny skies. Approaching 80 here, further to the south. This may be close to record temperatures tomorrow during the day. So it's still going to feel pretty nice out there, but this time of year that's really warm. So guys, I show this every day, and this is a 15-day temperature outlook for Warner Robins, Georgia area. And this shows a really good trend here about what the temperatures are going to do. And I wonder if this is valuable to anybody. Please let me know, and I'll stop showing it if nobody really looks at it. But I think it's a good tool to look at. Obviously, in the short term, high temps in the 70s, even on Saturday, dropping quite a bit here when we go into Sunday through most of to the end of this 15-day period here. The temperatures high temperatures in either a little bit below normal or near normal during the whole period, and lows the same way, although below normal temps here for the first couple days, which is usually the case as cold air pushes in. So generally in the 30s and 40s for lows, and highs in the mid 50s, low to mid 50s, and near 60 possibly towards the end of the period. So I mentioned the excessive rainfall risk, and we're going to talk about that right now. We have different highlighted areas for marginal risk here. Lower Mississippi Valley, parts of near Columbus, Alabama, down to Lafayette, Tallulah. Okay, that's one area. Another area is in Missouri, up to Kirksville, over to Emporia, Kansas, generally north of Perry, Oklahoma. And we have another axis of heavy precip possible here into parts of Illinois, all the way down to St. Louis, generally to Tipton, Indiana, Kalamazoo, Michigan, just to the southeast of Chicago, Peoria, Illinois as well. Illinois, excuse me. So, yeah, this wasn't on the map yesterday, so there's more confidence today that we're going to have a marginal flooding risk here. So let's look at the total precip expected. Yeah, so this is an interesting graphic, but you can see what the average precip amounts are. Not that impressive for the, let's go back to, put the outlooks back on here. Go back to excessive rainfall. Most impressive amounts are further south here, but if there's existing snowpack on the ground here or dry soils, we could have some quick hitting urban flooding threats. So we'll see what happens with that. Go to tomorrow. You see that slight risk here all the way down to the Gulf Coast and all the way up into near Knoxville, Tennessee, points west to Greenwood, Mississippi, Montgomery, Alabama. Jackson, Tennessee is in a marginal risk all the way down towards Madisonville, Texas, and Greenville, South Carolina. Atlanta is in the marginal risk. Parts of northwestern North Carolina, Marion, Virginia. Okay, so yeah, a lot going on with the flooding risk tomorrow. Okay, we look at QPF for tomorrow. Precip totals. We kind of showed this already, but 1, 2, possibly 3 inches of rain in the highest, with the highest rainfall totals. We could potentially see more than this, depending on the convection ongoing and where it sets up here. So we'll keep an eye on that. Now we go to day 3 for excessive rainfall. This marginal risk moves further to the north in the Appalachians, mountainous terrain here, still encompassing parts of North Georgia, parts of eastern Tennessee, northwestern South Carolina, western North Carolina, parts of Virginia, a small part of southern West Virginia, and southwestern Kentucky as well. So let's look at the moisture associated with this. The front kind of gets strung out here, so it starts getting moving here. So likely not as big of a risk, and that's why they have a marginal risk there. So moving on to the rest of the days, I'm pretty sure we don't have anything. We'll just show it anyway here for that. So with the severe risk, this is the day 1, the most recent outlook here. Large area, and we talked about this in a general sense, but large area of marginal risk here. And this large area is mostly driven by wind. And if we look at that real quick, we can see where that is. It's a 5% risk, which is low. And further north, it's pretty conditional, more conditional than further south or in the mid part of this area, due to some uncertainty and instability and warm temperatures aloft, things like that. But we got to be mindful about this dynamic system as it moves through. We have a looks like a boomerang shaped tornado risk today, marginal, Lawton, Oklahoma to generally to Springfield, Illinois, to Hickman, Missouri, all the way down to near Natchez, on the border between Louisiana and Mississippi, up into near El Dorado. I wouldn't be surprised to see some more, the possibility of some tornadic supercells further to the south here if we can get surface-based convection here. We show the wind risk, how large it is, and then the hail generally over Oklahoma, Kansas, Arkansas, and parts of Texas. So tomorrow is potentially a high-end day-ish, I guess you would say, guys. But there's still some uncertainty even now, potential for how severe the weather will be, meaning like strong tornadoes, widespread impacts, things like that. They've refined the slight risk area here into to move into Alabama. It was further north in the previous outlooks, all down to the Gulf Coast, Shreveport, El Dorado still in on it, Clarksville, Boonville, okay, Mississippi, Louisiana, and parts of Arkansas with a larger marginal risk going all the way up into Kentucky, touching on Atlanta, parts of northwest Georgia, and all along the Gulf Coast back to near San Antonio, Tyler, Texas, Jonesboro, Arkansas. Okay. So we look at tornado threat. The largest tornado threat is in this bullseye area here in the maroon color, surrounded by marginal risk with less certainty about it. Even here, it's only 5% tornado risk here. So the biggest threat is wind, okay, and the 15% yellow area here, and you have the 5% wind risk in the larger area surrounding it. Hail, likely, well, possible further to the south there in Mississippi, New Orleans area, Houston, Texas. Although I would say the hail threat is not going to be that widespread, but we'll keep an eye on that. Now we move to day 3. We have a pretty long strung out marginal risk here, and I think we'll see this refined. This is for Saturday, but the potential is for severe weather, generally from New Orleans to Apalachicola all the way up to parts of central North Carolina, central Virginia, back to Bristol, Tennessee, Cleveland, Huntsville, Jackson, Mississippi. So this will be with a cold front pushing through, and the low pressure that's associated with this will be moving further to the north. So I get the idea that tornado threat will be pretty low further south, but we'll see how that plays out. So this is the simulated radar from the HRRR model. And I think this depicts what's going on pretty well as of 8 a.m. It's a couple hours from now, Eastern time. So potentially some strong to severe storms moving through the Oklahoma City area this morning. And then lifting to the north here, kind of getting strung out here. And on the backside of this surface low, we get some colder air pushing to the east and some lingering snow out here into the mountainous terrain of the Rockies, but not a huge event, right? And maybe some refiring convection further to the south here with this model run. Okay. If we switch to the NAM 3 kilometer, which is a mid-range model that goes out 60 hours, right? And we start from where the other one, HRR, left off today at 8 p.m. Relatively deep surface low but you see how far west it is with moisture and heavy rain, maybe some icing on the northern tier up here in Minneapolis, Minnesota. On the western side, we could have some heavy snow here into parts of Nebraska, Kansas. And all along this line here, we have the potential for some severe weather, heavy rain today as that low moves to the north. And the low kind of gets strung out here, but you see potentially an axis of heavy snow on the western side of this as cold air pushes through just as the system exits. You can see why we're talking about heavy rain here, where this moisture axis kind of gets stuck here before another system comes through with rounds of heavy rainfall here. And as another trough dives to the south, another surface low is going to develop here along the front. And I wouldn't be surprised if they maybe highlight some areas further north for heavy rainfall, given what I'm seeing here. So we go, this is Saturday at 1 p.m. Okay, so we go out a little bit further with the Euro model. Generally show the same thing, not as much highest resolution here, right? It doesn't really depict a strong surface low here, but there's definitely something developing somewhere in here and moving to the north, helping enhance precipitation, right? And then that cold front pushes through, all right, and colder temps follow that. And for the rest of the U.S., not too much on the books here, except for maybe far northwestern Washington State towards the evening on Sunday. Okay, so going back to the NAM, we're going to look at the severe weather here, 6Z. Look at some of the severe weather parameters. Convective simulation, we can look at updraft helicity here and give it a good indication where the strongest rotating storms would be. I'm seeing the possibility here today in Oklahoma City area, and this is pretty soon here. Maybe some rotating storms going. All right. Now, supercells. Interestingly enough, there's a pretty this model is showing a pretty high risk of supercells, especially right where that surface low is moving. Of course, it moves further to the south, you have less instability, but even as it moves further to the north, it's depicting this possibility here. So all along this moisture axis, if we can get surface-based storms, we could possibly see some higher severe threats here. Significant tornado threat seems to be right about now, right? And that kind of wanes, but then it's not extremely high, but you see the axis here is generally the same area where you have that updraft helicity possibilities here. Deep moisture stream, right? If we look at dew points are a good indication of the amount of moisture here. There's a sharp cutoff in the axis of highest moisture. So with the NAM, it's one to bring temperatures in the 60s up into parts of Illinois, and dew points, especially along the Gulf Coast, will be in the 60s. This is more than sufficient for convection of fire, and likely up further to the north because the temperatures are cooler. Not as much of a chance, but if we get enough shear in the atmosphere, cold core setup, we could have some enhanced convection up here as well. So, excuse me. So, moving back to severe, when we look at CAPE in the atmosphere. CAPE is like the fuel for storms, right? And we talk about mixed layer CAPE. This is CAPE throughout the whole atmospheric column. And you see the highest CAPE values are this morning into parts of Oklahoma City, part of Oklahoma, into Kansas, Missouri, and then further along later on and into tomorrow morning, we got some higher CAPE values into the Louisiana area. All right, Little Rock, Arkansas, streaming all the way up into the Milwaukee, Chicago area, but likely elevated. Mixed layer means throughout the whole column. We look at surface-based CAPE. That'll give us a better idea. Potential for surface-based storms. The highest amounts are generally in that area. Little Rock, Shreveport. You see further north, not a lot there. So we move forward in time with this. We have a resurgence here of surface-based CAPE, especially down into along the Gulf Coast. If this values are realized, and we can get some convection firing here, and we'll look at the model really quickly here. Yeah, I could see the possibility of some. See this little outline here. These outlines indicate the possibility for rotating storms. It's hard to see, but it's not that well depicted on this map. All right, but tell you what, I'm going to switch to the SPC website and go over that real quick. So this is the Updraft Helicity, which is a good indicator for our max 2 to 5 kilometer updraft helicity ensemble max. This gives us an idea where rotating storms could be and the probability of within 40 kilometers, 99.95%. So this gives us a good proxy for that. So quite a bit of helicity in the atmosphere, meaning spin, at the beginning of this period, 1300, which is generally like 13 minus 6. That's yeah, like 5 a.m., something like that. Central, yeah. Okay. Anyway, you can see where it follows to the surface low, right? The surface low moves to the north here. You can see on the map how it kind of disappears here, right? Overnight, and maybe some overnight here, although convection is probably elevated at this point, right? Going into Friday. And this is where we get into the high ceiling day, right? The beginning of the day may have some convection fire. And this is the amount of convection fires during the day is really going to dictate how the rest of the day goes. You see further south here, we have this red shaded area right along the Gulf Coast where I think the potential is highest here for tornadoes and maybe some strong tornadoes if this happens. So we'll just have to see how this goes and how this evolves into tomorrow. So we'll have some time to watch this, and I'm sure this Storm Prediction Center will revise their forecast, but that's my thoughts for now. As far as day 3 to 7, U.S. Hazards Outlook, this is the 10th through the 14th, so a couple days from now, starting Saturday. This will be updated again. That's updated every day. Heavy snow possible in far as southern Alaska, but other than that, no short-term hazards listed on this map, even though we have potential for severe weather on Saturday. It doesn't show this here on this map. So as far as risk of heavy precipitation for the period the 15th through the 24th, this is the 8 to 14 day hazards outlook. No heavy rain expected. Heavy rain or snow, at least. I mean heavy precip, they normally refer to rainfall. So nothing expected the period of 15th through the 21st, at least right now. Now with snow, we got this prospect of heavy snow along the northern Appalachians into the parts of the Northeast and the favorite areas along the lee side of some of the Great Lakes here. So be mindful of that, the 15th through the 18th. High winds, the 15th through the 24th, we have a slight risk of high winds here in the northern tier of the U.S., desert Southwest into Southern California, far southern Alaska, and the portions of the Northeast during that period we discussed with a snowfall potential here, and maybe right along the Northeast coastline here. So yeah, so the end of the period here, we also have a slight risk of hazardous temperatures here, the 20th through the 21st. And you'll see there's got a pattern change coming where colder than normal temps look to be pushing back to the south again during this period. So when we get in the 6 to 10 day temperature outlook time frame, this was issued yesterday, the 13th through the 17th, with this generally next week, right? Expecting above normal to near normal temps for all the CONUS, with higher confidence in the along the California coast and the northern high plains of above normal temps. All right, and you can see that's reflected in the parts of southern Alaska here, southeastern Alaska, colder than normal in northeastern Alaska and northwestern Alaska here, excuse me, below to near normal in parts of the Aleutian Island chain, and below now to near normal in parts of Hawaii, which is a change that we've seen here as well. Precipitation outlook, looking like we're not going to get a lot of rain during this period along the west coast, or drier than normal anyway. And the northern tier of the U.S. looks to be somewhat active, as well as along the Texas, far south Texas, along the southeast coastline, maybe up into the northeast, and most of Hawaii and Alaska, and the Aleutian Island chain as well. So we move the 8 to 14 day temperature outlook. This is the change I'm talking about, trending below normal for areas of the upper Midwest into the Mississippi Valley here, near normal in the other areas, and gray. And out west, still trending above normal with a ridge out here, somewhat muted to the north here, also, but into Alaska as well. So that tells me we may be getting some more Arctic air pushing down into the eastern U.S. at the end of the month. Above normal precip chances, temperatures, excuse me, possible into southern Florida and Aleutian Island chain. Near normal to below normal temperatures expected in Hawaii as well. Moving on, the precip during this period. Looks like the west coast is still going to stay drier than average. The central U.S. to the southern part of the U.S. and maybe up into the Midwest, above normal and near normal along the Mid-Atlantic to Northeast coast, inland into the Ohio Valley, Mid-Mississippi Valley, with above normal in most of Alaska, Hawaii, far southeastern Alaska, maybe below normal precipitation amounts, and above normal in the Aleutian Island chain here. So when we look at the rest of January, this was issued the 31st, and we look at the rest of January, today's the 8th, we see that northerly, northwesterly flow maintained here, at least on this monthly temperature outlook, with warmer than normal temps, maybe further south. We may see this change with future week 3 to 4 outlooks. I would anticipate it would be a little more troughiness in the Ohio Valley, Mississippi Valley, but we'll see. With below normal to equal normal chances here in Alaska of temperatures being either close to average or below. Monthly precip outlook. We've been going over this for a while now about, for the south into southern Florida, the southeast of southern Florida, below normal possibility here of precip, South Texas. Equal chances on the white areas here and above normal here into the areas generally from Montana, Wyoming through the desert southwest into California and some points east of the Sierra Nevada and Cascade Range. Equal chances above and below in different parts of Alaska here on this map. And when we look at the week 3 to 4 temperature outlook, I think this will be updated today or tomorrow. It just follows along with the monthly outlook here. The same areas in general, having above and below normal temperature profiles here. Equal chances in between, although Hawaii has maybe trended a little bit below normal here, but we'll see what they have to say when they update this graphic from the Climate Prediction Center today or tomorrow, and I'll update this as well. And week 3 to 4 precip outlook, it's all over the place, different parts of the country. In the brown, trending below normal chances of precip, below normal possibilities, below normal precip chances, okay? And the green is trending above. Near normal for the gray areas, white areas, equal chances, okay? Equal chances to below, and equal chances to below in the Aleutian Island chain of Alaska and above in Hawaii. So that's all I got for today, guys. Stay safe out there and God bless.